Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an OP Paladin build guide in Oblivion Remastered. Now the Paladin's all about holy or radiant damage, which unfortunately isn't in Oblivion, but with some alteration spells, as well as restoration and some conjuration to turn undead, we can actually do something really cool with this thematic build. It is quite powerful as well. So the Helm of the Crusader and all these outfits here look really nice, like a true Paladin, but even if you got like the Golden Saint set as well, that also looks pretty similar. And even the Blackwood helmet can kind of have that Paladin look. So there's actually quite a few Paladin looking armor sets in this game, but my favorites being the Helm of the Crusader. As for weapons too, I'll just cover these at the start. Like the Golden Mace looks great for it, obviously going with some of the others, like the Mace of the Crusader fits perfectly here for a Paladin. But even like the Volendrung weapon here, which can paralyze targets, works perfectly here. I just like that the Golden Mace looks so sweet on this. Now, the way to play this, so I wouldn't fully recommend like stealth. You can get the this armor in light armor variety, but we want to get in bashing enemies and using our different spells. So we got ourselves a magic, we got I guess a couple different spells that work very well here. So I'm using a custom spell called the Paladin's Heal, which restores 20 health over 3 seconds. So that's actually pretty powerful. And then the Paladin's Healing Aura, which costs 85 magicka, but it does 10 points of healing for 20 seconds, which is pretty powerful as well. There's even spells like the Protect from the Alteration line, which can give you shield on yourself, which is nice. I also like some of the summons are great, because you need to level up your conjuration spell to be able to do some of the more powerful spells here, like being able to turn undead, like the Repulse Undead spell here, which fits perfectly with a Paladin who's kind of against the undead. But restoration, alteration, and a bit of conjuration kind of the major focuses here. I really like this Paladin's Healing spell that I went with here because I find that that works well, being able to heal over time. But we want to get in using our blunt weapons and just bonking enemies over the head. And we do have a shield here to help out with protection, which I will get into how to build this from the start of the game, but just a bit of a demonstration here. You're a brutal warrior, sword and board style. So you got that shield there to be able to protect yourself, just getting in to get close to the enemies and blocking when necessary to be able to take them out. So this is pretty fun because with a shield, it's not as strong as pure magic, but we can add some magic in, which I'll be getting into. So starting off with the best race or identity, I do think that Red Guards are very solid here, getting additional damage on weapons and armors. They also get increased endurance, also resistance to disease and poison. They're actually just hardy in general. On top of the Red Guard, we also got the Orc, which is also very powerful, great with armor skills, great with heavy armor. They have increased strength as well. And then the Nord as well, great choice. It's not as strong because cold damage, they get a resistance to the frost damage, but that's not something you're going to encounter as much as fire damage, which leads me to say the Dark Elf is also a great choice here because they get a huge fire resistance considering we encounter fire so frequently. It's a nice thing to have. They also go with weapons. They get increased weapon skills and destruction magic, which we could use here. It doesn't fit fully with the theme of the Paladin, but some people like to throw in magic. So these three work well. You could go with a Breton too if you want to be focusing more on magic, because they do get a resistance to magic, which works well with this. So these two races are probably the two best in the game, but the Nord, our Orc, and Red Guard work well too. And I mean, you could even go with a Imperial. They are all right, but Red Guard, Orc, Nord, Breton, Dark Elf, and sometimes Imperial, best three or best races here. And for birth signs, there's a few that make a lot of sense, like the Warrior, getting increased strength, so for using our heavier weapons, and fortify endurance for more health. We could even go with the Lady, however, because this will give us the increased endurance for more health, but also willpower to increase our stamina recovery or fatigue recovery rate, as well as increase the magicka recovery rate. I think the Lord's probably the absolute best here. They actually buffed this quite a bit from the original Oblivion, so this will give us a 15 armor rating, which is huge in the early game when we don't have as much armor, and it also allows us to resist magic by 15%, which is huge. I always got to give a shout out to the Thief. Fortify agility is huge for later weapons, but that's not going to be the focus of this. It's a fortify luck. 10 points of luck is a massive boost. This is also the only one that gives 30 points compared to like 20 for all the rest of them. So this can be great because luck is hard to level up. Every level that you get, it takes 4 points of your 12 at level up to level up 1 point of luck. So this could be a good choice. But even the Atronak, I was going to give this one's really cool because you can absorb 50% of the magic that's cast at you, but you get a 150 increase your magic, but can't regenerate it yourself. This is a completely different playstyle, so if this sounds interesting, you should go with it, but it may be difficult for most people. So I would recommend the Lord, #1. The Warrior is a decent one as well, increasing endurance and strength. The Lady as well, or the Thief, but top two would be Lord. Atronak if you like that playstyle. There is a custom Crusader class, but it is not great. Athletics, both blade and blunt, which is kind of weird. Destruction, hand-to-hand, heavy armor, restoration. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, so we're going to make our own custom class here. Now, specialization, there's the option to go with combat or magic. Both of these are great choices. I think combat's a little bit better. They basically give you a +5 bonus to those skills, and they increase more rapidly, so whatever you prefer, using a bit of magic or a bit of armor, I think combat's my personal preference. That's what we're going to go with. Now, for attributes, strength is great for if we're going to be using melee weapons, so maces, battle axes, warhammers, your bare hands. Just going to increase the amount of damage that we deal. Endurance for more health is also important for survivability's sake at the early game. Willpower for the magic of regeneration and intelligence are 2 other good stats. And even luck, because luck is the hardest stat to increase, as I said earlier, so this could be a good choice to go with. Strength and endurance makes the most sense, though, for stats on a paladin. And if you really want to go in on personality, because you could be a righteous paladin, and that kind of makes sense too, but I think strength and endurance are our best attributes. Into the skill section. This is where it really comes together for this class. So we do have functions between both magic and combat. The big one being, I think heavy armor is pretty much essential for a paladin, just makes the most sense. You could use light armor instead if you prefer it, but heavy armor is just the way to go here. I also think blunt weapons make more sense here. I prefer blade personally, but blunt, it depends on the type of weapon you want to use. Paladins can use swords or blades, but I just think of a paladin with a mace, so that's why we're going blunt for here. Block as well, being able to block attacks. We're going to be using a shield, so we may as well have a good block stat. This does level up pretty quickly, so you can choose another one. Armor is also quite powerful because you can repair your items with this. So it's a nice one to have, but you don't need to level it up if you don't want to. It's just another choice you could go with. Now for magic, this is where it gets fun. We do want restoration. The paladin's about healing, so this is the only way to heal. So you're going to restore, fortify, absorb attributes, cure disease, and improve resistances. Pretty effective healing spells. As you saw there, I made the custom spells. Alteration is another good one. So this gives you feather spells, but also shield spells. So shield is really effective because we don't have a lot of magic as a paladin themed. You're going to want to have some way of shielding yourself, protecting yourself other than just the shield itself. And as I mentioned, going with conjuration, because we can turn undead. That's a core principle of the paladin in pretty much any role-playing game. So we want to have that there. We could, for our last one, there is like the speechcraft. If you want to be more of a good holy paladin and talks to people, kind of the police of Cyrodiil there. Mercantile is an okay stat. The reason I don't take acrobatics or athletics is these stats will increase on their own really fast. You're running everywhere, so don't take them. You're just going to level yourself up too quickly. So for the final one, we could go with the armorer, or going with some other type of magic. Destruction for being able to do elemental damage is cool, but doesn't fit thematically with a paladin because it's fire, frost, or lightning damage. You could use lightning and pretend it's like a holy blast of some type, so that could work. Alchemy kind of makes sense in a way, but I think armor, block, blunt, heavy armor, and then for alteration, conjuration, and restoration spells work great for this combination. So I see this Minotaur here attacking his horse weirdly, so we're gonna go in and protect it. So the nice thing with using that was a Minotaur Lord. The nice thing with using a sword and shield is you get the ability to block attacks, so you can get in and back right off using your shield to keep yourself safe. I like to use third person for this, so you can read your distance from the enemy a little bit better. Playing on higher difficulties does make this a little bit difficult because they do have a ton of health, as you can see there. So we do want to have our spell there to be able to heal ourselves. The heal over time, I feel like, fits really nicely with the theming of a paladin, so you can roll with that. So the Paladin's Healing Aura is a nice spell that I made there. Paladin heal 20 health over 3 seconds, and then Paladin's Healing Aura 10 points over 20 seconds. So you can set up with this so that you can always have a heal over time on your character, so that you can see there our health is coming back pretty quickly. And then whenever we get in position to attack, we can use that and kind of block away. Having some dodging abilities is also quite nice, so that works well there. Being on higher difficulties is challenging because, yeah, they have a lot of health. So yeah, we actually got an assist there. But yeah, whenever we're going against enemies, we want to use our shield to block attacks, back out. If you have your shield up, you can press space and jump backwards if you got high enough mobility on your acrobatic skills, so that can give you a bit of an extra edge over enemies. But in general, as a paladin, you want to be keeping yourself healed up, using the shield spells, using the restoration spells, as well as using some of the turn undead whenever you're facing off against undead. So yeah, that is a paladin build in Oblivion Remastered. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.